interest of Avery and Amir Beal before the court is the custodial parent, Monique Reese, by telephone, and the Assistant Attorney General, Ms. Farrard. We had begun testimony in this matter. We needed a correction. Let's continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, yes, for the record, on page 2 and 3, it's been reflected and changed that the parties are, or that the mother is in agreement to being joint managing conservators with Mr. Beal and her designating the residents with a geographic restriction to Harris and contiguous counties.
All right.
Now, Ms. Reese, in regards to possession and access, you are asking for possession of the children to be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month only. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that is based on the fact that once Mr. Beal was released from jail, you allowed the children to go over and visit with him. Is that right?
Yes.
And he left the children out within the apartment complex with no supervision for an extended period of time. And you don't feel that he has the capability to maintain possession of the children for long periods of time or overnight. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in regards to your address and information, there has been family violence between you and Mr. Beal in the past, and since 2015. Is that right?
Yes.
And that was the reason that y'all separated. Is that correct?
Yes.
And because of that, there's not been any family violence since your separation because you've been separate from him. But it's in he does not know where you currently live. Is that right?
Yes.
And you're asking that him to continue to not know where you live and that any pickup and drop off will occur at his apartment complex. And you don't know specifically his number, but just you'll drop him off at that complex each Saturday. Is that every other Saturday? Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that's at the Northbrook Apartments, 17111 Haffer Road in Houston.
That's
Yes.
correct, Your Honor.
Yes.
That's where he lives.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
Now, in regards to his income, we are using the minimum wage presumption to base his child support. And from your knowledge, he has one additional child that currently resides with him. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have private health insurance, medical and dental through your employer. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that cost you approximately $180 per month for health and $30 per month for dental. And you're asking to be ordered to maintain that health insurance through your employer, but you're not asking for any reimbursement from Mr. Beal. So those will both be set at zero beginning September 1st of 2022. Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes.
Now, giving him credit for the cost, well, this cost is going to be zero, but the cost, this other child that he does have, your child support will be set at $257 beginning September 1st of 2022. Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes.
And you've requested retroactive support for the last 4 years prior to the date of filing, and that came up to the amount of $7,317. And that was calculated using minimum wage. However, there were 3 months where we did use his income at the time, and we took out the time period where he was incarcerated. Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes.
And you're asking that he pay that judgment back at $98 per month beginning September 1st of 2022. Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes.
That concludes the order, Your Honor. I pass my witness.
There's a non-disclosure finding. We didn't talk about that.
We did, Your Honor, that there has been family
Well,
violence in the past since 2015. I can
Yes,
ask.
but Ms. Reese, at this time, if he knows your address, is he likely to cause you or or children harassment, abuse, serious harm, or injury?
Yes, I can.
All right. Court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes.
Ms. Reese, you'll re-sign that last order and then you're done, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, this is cause number 2022-17184 in the interest of Ian and Aiden Briley. Please raise your right hand to be sworn and unmute yourself. Can you hear me, Ms. Velasquez?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, raise your right hand to be sworn.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Raise your right hand to be sworn. Right hand, ma'am. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the children.
My name is Maria Velasquez, and I'm the mother to the kids.
All right, and representing the Attorney General, State of Texas.
Andrea Eoff.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Dawson Briley. Mr. Briley was personally served on May 17th, 2022 at 10:27 a.m. at 13,000 Wood Forest Boulevard, apartment 210 in Houston, Harris County, Texas, and he has not filed an answer or made an appearance.
That's correct, Your Honor.
We'll proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state would like to call Maria Velasquez.
All right.
All right. Ms. Velasquez, will you please unmute yourself?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Velasquez, will you please state your name for the record?
Maria Velasquez.
And will you state the names and ages of your children?
Ian Briley and Aiden Briley. One's 9 months old and the other one 2 years old.
All right, and Ian is 2 years old, is that correct?
Yes.
And Ian was born before you married Mr. Briley, is that right?
Correct.
But Mr. Briley signed an acknowledgement of paternity stating that he is Ian's father, is that right?
Yes.
All right, and then Aiden was born after you married Mr. Briley, is that right?
Yes.
And Mr. Briley is Aiden's father as well, correct?
Correct.
All right, are you asking that the court declare Mr. Briley as both Ian and Aiden's father today?
Yes.
All right. And from what I understand, you and Mr. Briley separated towards the end of June. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you and Mr. Briley have a history of family violence. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. And did Mr. Briley assault you in August of 2021?
Yes. While I was pregnant with my baby.
Can you tell the court what happened?
We were arguing and he just took my phone that day and I told him to give it back because he was already getting violent before that. And I said I was gonna call the cops. So he took my phone away and he wouldn't let me call the cops. And it just got like worse and worse. And I don't really remember exactly what happened anymore because he hit my head. But I was taken to the hospital and I had a placenta eruption. He threw me on the floor. I had bruises. I had like my mouth was bleeding. The police took pictures of them. I had like my bone from my leg. It was like where it was dislocated. So that's basically what happened.
And he served some time for felony assault based on that. Is that correct?
Yes.
But he's currently out of jail. Is that right?
Yes.
And then after he got out of jail, you guys continued to live together. Is that right?
Yes.
And then was there an incident where he hurt Aiden that caused you guys to separate?
Yes. He stuffed the baby's mouth with his own blanket and the blanket had blood on it and everything because he stuffed it and the side of his lips ended up like getting cuts.
And do you know why he did that?
Because he was tired of the baby crying because he was on meth.
Okay. And have you seen instances where he has thrown things at Aiden?
Yes, he would throw like socks or just like stuff to make him cry. And he even said, I don't know why, but every time I'm around Aiden, I just feel like making him cry.
Yeah. So you feel like he tries to make Aiden cry for fun. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yes.
And then when Aiden cries, he has stuffed his blanket in his mouth and cut his face to try to make him be quiet.
Yes.
And to your knowledge, has that happened more than once?
Yes.
All right. And then is it true that whenever this blanket incident happened a couple months ago, you called CPS? Is that right?
Yes.
And what happened when you called CPS?
Well, CPS, we had an open case with CPS for something before, but they would come and see the kids. They had already closed that case. But
Mhm.
I said, hey, this happened with my kid. I cannot stay here any longer. I
Mhm.
have to leave. They say, yes, move yourself out of that situation. I came and started living with my dad.
Mhm.
The PS just basically like took it from there. And now there's like an investigation going on.
Mhm. And did CPS have him take a drug test as part of this investigation?
Yes, and it was positive for meth.
Okay. So based on his drug usage and the history of violence, both against you and against Aiden, are you asking that the court order that you be the sole managing conservator of your children and that he would be a possessory conservator?
Yes.
And are you asking that the court designate you as the managing conservator with no geographic restriction on where you live?
Yes.
All right. And when it comes to visitation, are you asking that the court order some limited supervised visitation?
Yes.
All right. And I'm going to describe some visitation, and I want to just find out if that's what you're asking the court for. So are you asking the court to grant him visitation from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month, only if he gives you 7 days advance notice via email at mariavelasquez0831@gmail.com?
Yes.
And are you asking that all of those visits be supervised by you or someone that you choose?
Yeah.
And are you asking that those visits occur at North Shore Channel Park, located at 14440 Wallaceville Road in Houston, Texas, 77049, unless you guys agree in writing to a different location?
Yes.
Okay. And let's pull back and talk for a minute about Mr. Briley's income. Does Mr. Briley work?
As far as I know, at the moment, no.
And when you lived together, he didn't work consistently. Is that correct?
No, mostly it was me working.
Okay. So are you asking the court to order him to pay child support based on the minimum wage presumption, the idea that he could get a minimum wage job and work full time?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to order him to pay $267 a month in child support beginning September 1st of 2022?
Yes.
And are you asking that the court order you to apply for and maintain a government insurance program for the children?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to order him to pay $75 a month in medical support, cash medical, beginning September 1st, 2022?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to award a retroactive support judgment from the period of July 1st to today in the amount of $534?
Yes.
And are you asking that he be ordered to pay that at $53 a month?
Yes.
Okay. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the non-disclosure finding. You want to waive non-disclosure. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that means that your phone number and address will be published in this court order and he will have it. And you are comfortable with that. Is that what you're telling the court?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, that concludes our order and I pass this witness.
About retroactive.
The retroactive $534 paid at $53 a month,
Okay.
July 1st to today.
All right. Does he know where you live now, Ms. Velasquez?
Yes. I live at my dad's house at the moment.
Okay. All right. Court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.